Jenny Allard is the Ivy League's longest tenured and winningest softball coach. All 8 of Harvard's Ivy League titles and its 7 NCAA championship berths have come under the watch of Allard, who has led the Crimson for 28 years. Allard's teams have produced numerous All-Ivy selections, as well as 7 Ivy League Players of the Year, 8 Ivy Pitchers of the Year, 6 Ivy Rookies of the Year, and 3 NFCA All-Americans. She has also been a valuable asset to Harvard since 1994. Included in all her service, Allard helped launch in 2020 Harvard's Grow, Play, Achieve, GPA, program, which provides health, wellness, and community building opportunities for all undergraduates. At this time, please enjoy this video highlighting the career of Jenny Allard.
Congratulations, Jenny, on your induction into the NFCA Hall of Fame, the highest individual accolade a coach can achieve. It was a real treat to be your coach at the University of Michigan, and you had so much talent on the field, in the circle, as a hitter, as a position player on defense, and those talents earned you the well-deserved honor of being an NFCA All-American. It's been so fun to watch your coaching career unfold. Love that competitive edge you've had as well, knowing how to have your teams win and be big in the moment. And I'm just so proud of you. Congratulations on your big night.
We are all proud of you. I know Hutch is at the top of that list, and I'm not far behind. And how fitting, on the 50-year anniversary of the celebration of Title IX, that your first coaching stop was at Iowa, where Dr. Christine Grant was instrumental in the development of Title IX. How fitting that you're being inducted this year. She would be extremely proud of you, Jenny, as we all are. Congratulations.
When she came in, there was something about Jen. She had that little je ne sais quoi, you know. She handled herself so well and was so poised, and did things, said things with convictions, and you couldn't help but be impressed with her. And certainly, I think both of us felt that if someone was going to be able to do it, it would have been Jen. And look at the track record.
Harvard was playing its first Ivy game. It was against Brown. The next day, Jenny comes to my office. She knocks on the door and she says, "Pat, can I talk to you?" "Yeah, sure." You know, we said, we're talking about the game, and she said, "I got to tell you something." She said, "You know, I got thrown out of the game." And I was sitting there and I'm going, okay, how do you respond to this? And immediately in my head, I said to myself, we got the right person. We got the right person.
Congratulations, Jenny. We are so proud of you, so honored to have you at Harvard. And this award obviously recognizes your accomplishments as a player and as a coach. But even more than that, why you are so deserving is because of who you are and how you have mentored and led and inspired so many young women.
Jenny, congratulations on your NFCA Hall of Fame induction. I am thrilled that you're being honored in this way. In addition to your tremendous on-field accomplishments, which include 8 Ivy championships and 7 trips to the NCAA tournament, your approach to your work is both equally impressive and commendable. You are a role model coach, mentor, and educator who has set many students and alumni up for success, both in their time at Harvard and beyond.
I've been very impressed with her ability to develop her student athletes, and she does a great job of teaching the game, but more importantly, getting them prepared for life after softball.
Congratulations, Jenny. Let me be amongst everybody tonight to wish you all the best on this evening. We're proud of you here in Ann Arbor. We're proud of you as a Michigan woman. We're proud of all of your accomplishments, but more than anything, we're proud of the woman that you are, the coach that you are, and the role model and mentor that you have been for a long, long time. You've impacted a lot of lives, and we're certainly happy to be a part of your journey.
Hi, Jenny. Congratulations on being inducted into the NFCA Hall of Fame. It is such an honor to have coached under you for 5 years at Harvard. You have made such an impact on not only myself, but every other coach that's coached under you and every player that has played under you at Harvard. I know you don't like to be the center of attention, but tonight is your night, and I am so excited to celebrate this evening with you.
You're the epitome of a leader, a fearless one, for sure. You taught me to fight for what's right. You taught me how to fight for women's rights, how to fight for student athletes, and how to run a Division I softball program the right way, with relationships being at the forefront. The culture of the program embodies everything that she is about, and it is unmatched. Coach, thank you for paving the way, mentoring every student athlete and coach you've ever been in contact with, and giving your 110% always.
Jenny, you are a Title IX trailblazer, an incredible softball mind, and an even better person. Congratulations on the NFCA Hall of Fame.
What's so significant about her coaching style is that Harvard likes to espouse, right? It's student athlete, and the student comes first, or the person comes first. And I think Coach embodies that more than anyone, any coach I've ever worked with. I mean, when you're having a tough time, even when you're being like a total jerk, or, we've all had moments, she really sees when you need something.
I think what has made you such an exceptional coach is not only what you've done with your teams on the field, but really how you help develop us as women off the field. I know I benefited from that greatly, and so I just wanted to say thank you. I wish you all the joy that comes from this award. It's well deserved.
Coach, congratulations on your achievement. Throughout the years, you've always put players first, and now we're really excited to celebrate you. Thank you so much for all you've done for Harvard softball.
Congratulations. I am so proud to be part of this program and this legacy, and this honor for you is so well deserved. Congrats.
Coach, you have impacted so many young women's lives, including mine. Thanks for believing in me and helping me find my best friends. You're the best to have ever done it.
Congratulations. So happy for you. And since I think I'm officially the first person you handpicked to be on the Harvard softball team, because I was a walk-on in your first year, I just want you to know you changed my life. It wouldn't be the same if you hadn't taken a shot at me. So congrats, and thank you for everything.
Congrats, Coach! Congratulations, Coach, on your Hall of Fame achievement. Kia!
Congratulations on being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I'm really proud of you.
Hi, Jenny. Thank you so much for being such a great role model, and we're all so proud of you. Thank you for all you've done for our family.
As your oldest niece, it's pretty cool to say that you've been coaching longer than I've been alive.
And hopefully you show up on time at the banquet.
Congrats, Jenny! Hi, Jenny. We just want to say congratulations.
And let you know that we're really happy for you.
And how proud of you we are, and that we love you very much.
Hi, Jenny. So happy to be here and sharing this special honor with you. I'm reminded of when we first moved to California. Dad and I sent you to this softball camp for 5 days. Was that you, Irvine? You're about 8. And after the week ended, we asked you how you enjoyed the camp and if you learned anything. And you said, yes, you really enjoyed the camp, and that one of the coaches there told you you had something called potential. And let's just say the rest is history. Every time you got a special honor or a special award, Dad and I would look at each other and just say potential. So congratulations. So happy for you.
Harvard softball is a program it is because of you, and we're so grateful for the legacy that you're leaving. It'll be remembered forever.
Congrats, Coach!
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium 2022 NFCA Hall of Fame inductee, Jenny Allard.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Obviously, it's incredible to be here, to be honored in this way. This is beyond anything I ever expected, and I'm, filled with gratitude. This honor is celebrated by my family, many of whom are here tonight. It's celebrated by my current team and alumni, and you've heard them cheering for me very loudly. They're super excited for the after party. It's celebrated by the athletic department, and I'm happy to have our senior associate AD and our program manager here tonight as well. And it's celebrated by assistant coaches along with my current staff, with whom, I share this recognition. Obviously, coaching is such a encompassing job, encompassing, activity, let's say. And to have great help makes all the difference in the world in anything that you do. And I've learned through the years that asking for help is something that everybody needs to embrace doing. I want to thank the NFCA for this honor and bringing us together for the development of our game. It's been amazing to watch over the years how our association, how the sport, how everything has just really grown. When I made the transition to coaching, I was an accountant in my former life. The conventions were critical for learning and growing and connecting. I had studied numbers for 4 years. I took a little history, a little psychology classes, but then there was a lot I needed to learn. And I told my mom, I got to go back to school. And she's like, "What's for? You've been doing this your whole life." I said, I don't know the pedagogue to how do you explain things, how do you teach things? Just because you can do it doesn't mean you can teach it. And I said, let's talk about the outfield. What do those people do out there? I've never played the outfield. I don't know what they do. There's a lot I have to learn. And the conventions were a way to learn that and to listen and to be involved and to be connected. And it's such just a wonderful community that just keeps giving every year. And I'm proud to be a part of this association. And I really thought I hit the jackpot. During COVID, I got this paperweight. I love paperweights. I have a collection. And I got this paperweight from the NFCA that was in the shape of a ball. Many of you have it. It's crystal. And I was like, I have made it. I have this award from the NFCA that says 30-year member. And I have it prominently displayed on my desk, and I love it. But this one, I'm just overwhelmed by this award from the NFCA. So thank you for this. As I reflected on my life in softball, I just have been feeling like I've been born under a lucky star. My grandfather bought me my first glove 2 years after Title IX was passed. And I have seen the development of our sport, the development of women's sports. That has been my life. To be born post-Title IX, to have the opportunities I have, I feel just timing is everything, right? And the camp that my mother referenced that they signed me up for, that was the Sue Enquist softball coach at UC Irvine. You're 8 years old, and the first coach, college coach you get to work with is Sue Enquist. She was an assistant coach at UCLA. What are the odds? She brought in Ron Lefevre to teach us how to pitch. He went on to train many All-Americans, one of them being Jen Brundage, who played at UCLA and is now associate head coach at Michigan. My mother has always preached to us, my siblings and myself, our responsibility as parents is to make sure our kids have choices. You have to make sure they have choices. And I'm living proof that she lived what she preaches. You've got to expose them to things, let them find their interests, let them find their passions. And in doing that, my son, he was briefly on the film. He can't be here tonight. He loves books. That's his passion. His passion is history. I didn't know he was competitive. He told me at 5 years old, "Mommy, sports are boring. You do the same thing over and over again." I was like, he's right. You just do the same thing over and over again. So he loves books, he loves languages, and he's at Trinity College in Dublin, Ireland, studying history, and he found his passion. I have my niece here tonight. She found her passion. She's studied, and she's just graduated from nursing school, and I'm proud to report that she is a nurse at U of M Hospital. So congratulations on that one. All the opportunities I was given in youth softball, and again, I was lucky. My parents settled in Southern California, and in the 80s, they were playing softball year-round. I couldn't play other sports because I had asthma. When I played soccer, I was running up and down. They made me the goalie because I was huffing and puffing. Then basketball was no, that was not going to be good at all. So I stuck with softball and loved it, and I had some success with it. And all those opportunities I had to develop my skills afforded me the opportunity to be recruited by Michigan. And I went to Michigan on a visit. Hutch was in maybe her 3rd year as a head coach. And I went on the coldest day of the year. And here's a kid from SoCal. It's 0 degrees. I've never seen 0. And I'm like, wow, I just like feel a fit here. I really liked the people in the program. And I'm proud to have a very famous teammate here tonight, Bonnie Thal, the new leader of the Michigan softball program. And all alums are thrilled for her. And I make this decision. They had an undergraduate business school, and I could take classes out of that. And I was just super thought this is the right fit. And my mom said, you know, I really like that hutch. There's something about that hutch. And she's in her 3rd year. She had been an assistant. They promoted her. She became the head coach. And here I choose to go to Michigan. And Hutch develops one of the most storied programs at Michigan, is a Hall of Famer herself, the winningest coach in Division I softball. And she's my coach. My coach is famous, right? Like, who does, like, that's lucky. Like, look at these opportunities. And so how does a kid who graduates from Michigan in accounting, has a job in public accounting, get into coaching, get into college coaching specifically? Enter Gail Blevins, okay? By way of a high school program as well. And I'll tell you the story of how I got into coaching, because Carol Bruggeman, my senior year, said, Jenny, you really should consider coaching. I think you'd be good at it. Nope, that's not for me. I don't like to talk that much. I don't think I could do that. I just think I need to stay in my lane. So I didn't give it a second thought. I graduate, and I have a public accounting job. I'm working for one of the big 6 firms. My goal was to then work for my dad, work in his office, be his business manager. And all of a sudden, I start doing this work, and I can't sit still for 10, 12 hours a day. My first job as an accountant was loan review in Hanford, California. 10 hours a day, you had to go through a stack of papers in an hour and come up with a valuation of all of these loans. It's like watching paint dry. And I thought, I don't know if I can do this. I felt like it wasn't the right fit. We talk about fit a lot in recruiting. It wasn't the right fit. I should be doing something else. It was almost like I was being called to do something else. A year later, I worked for my father. Okay, that's getting better. I'm learning his business. I'm more dynamic. I'm doing more and different things. And in November, I do a road race. This is how you can get into coaching. I do a road race, and I run from Irvine to Laguna Beach, 13 miles, because Hutch made us run in college, so I kept running after college. And, I never ran before because I had asthma, but then I learned how to run and get in shape, so I ran this 13-mile road race. And so at the end of the race was the current high school coach where I had gone to school. I didn't play for him, but he said, what are you doing now? I said, oh, I'm working for my dad. I missed the game. He says, would you like to come help out the team? I said, yeah, I volunteer a day or so. He calls me then, he goes, great, I'll take your number, we'll get together. Fine. He calls me in February and says, will you be my JV coach? I said, I have a full-time job. He says, well, I need a JV coach and you can assist me with varsity. So I go to my boss, my dad, and I said, I think I need to try this. I think I need to try coaching. All the while when I was miserable, my mother says, why don't you call the coaches that you say? Why don't you go coach? You should call them, you should volunteer. I'm not doing that. I don't think I'll be good at that. I'm not doing that. I was resistant. Your parents, as a parent, you're the dumbest person, right? Like, the only thing more humbling than coaching is parenting. Like my son thinks I'm the stupidest person on the planet. I'm like, I have some credentials. So I wasn't listening to my mother. So sure enough, I get this opportunity. I was like, I think I need to try this. My dad's like, that's fine, but I'm going to cut your pay. I said, that's fine. You can cut my pay, no problem. So I run the road race, do the road race, then I get involved in the coaching. I coach the high school, and I was like, wow, this is what I should do. I like this. I could teach and coach at the high school level. I'll go back to school. Well, Gail Blevins came out to recruit 2 of our pitchers that spring. And she says to me, have you ever entertained college coaching? I said, nope, no way. She says, you should consider it. I said, okay, I think I'm going to go back to school and get my credential and do the teaching, and I think I'll be good on that track. She says, okay, well, just consider it. I said, okay, no problem. That summer, she had an opening on her staff. So she calls me, and she says, will you consider this opening? Will you interview? And I said, okay, sure. I moved out of the Midwest back to California. It's nice and sunny. It's warm. And do I want to consider this job? And I was like, I have to do this. I have to interview with Gail. She interviews me. She offers me the job. She flies me to Iowa to check it out. And I was like, I've been to Iowa. I played against you. I've been there. So I fly to Iowa, and she puts me in front of Dr. Christine Grant, okay? I'm going to give everybody in this room homework because I am from Harvard and I have to represent. You need to look up Dr. Christine Grant. in the spirit of the 50th anniversary of Title IX, the NCAA commissioned a documentary called Unshakable Belief. Unshakable Belief. And she was such an advocate and such a pioneer for Title IX, what she argued for, what she advocated for at the administrative level. She was the AD, the women's AD at Iowa, and there was a male AD. So they were separate departments, and after 27 years when she retired, they combined them. But during the time I worked at Iowa, she was the AD. I mean, here I have the first AD I worked for is a pioneer fighting Title IX, going to Congress, arguing these things, and my college coach is such a pioneer for Title IX, like advocating, you know, these are two people I learned how to fight for things, what you have to do, what's important, how to frame things, how to work for things. And Gail taught me how to coach, how to think about things as a coach. That's very different as a player. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you can teach it. She was a mastermind at developing her players. Her practice plans were 3 pages long, and I kept every single one of them. And their learning and the strategy that I gained from her, it was the best apprenticeship I ever had. She's tough. She was intense about the game, and she was a master strategist. She did things in the game, you know, during my era when I played that were revolutionary. And I experienced it firsthand. We played at Iowa, I think it was my senior year. And I come up to bat, and I'm a dead pull hitter. So she plays a shift. I'd never seen it before. My eyes get real big. There's nobody in right field. I look down at Hutch, like, there's nobody in right field. You know, Hutch, this is the genius of Hutch. She doesn't call timeout and go, do this with your bat. She goes, I'll give you $1 if you hit it to right field. So I'm loose now. I'm laughing. I'm like, okay, well, how do I do, I'm thinking, how do I do that? Okay, she's pitching me inside. I get off the plate. Okay, do it. I swung the bat, and it went to right field. And I had to run now, and I wasn't fast. It's the only time in my career at Michigan that I got all the way to third base. I couldn't make it home. I wasn't fast enough. I slid into third. Hutch is like on the floor laughing. And I stand up and say, you owe me $1, right? And then the next inning, Gail comes out. I'm playing third, and she's like, good hit, Jenny. I mean, so all she could say was like, good hit, like you went against the strategy. But the mind of that, and to think about doing that, it was so revolutionary to think about how she could position her players and to teach that, to see substitutions, to see making decisions. It just really taught me more than I could have imagined. And I'm forever grateful to Gail for the opportunity to get into college coaching, to do something that had become, you know, my greatest passion, you know, professionally, and to learn from somebody who is so good at what they do. And, you know, again, I just filled with gratitude about that experience. And here's how I got to Harvard. So I'm at the College World Series, and I'm the assistant coach rep on the NFCA committee. So we had to meet. So I had to go to the College World Series. So I'm at the series, and Kathy Aronson, who's the head coach at Yale, says, hey, Jenny, how do you like coaching? I said, oh, I really enjoy it. She said, do you want to be a head coach? And I said, well, eventually. I've only done this 2 years. Like, I'm 6 years old. Like, I just got into coaching. I'm just still adjusting from accounting. And she says, you know, the Harvard job's open. I said, oh, okay. She says, you know, I recruited you out of high school at Northwestern. I remember you were a good student. They're going to want to hire somebody young, somebody who's a good student. You should apply for the job. So I thought, okay. So I drive back to Iowa, and I applied for the job. And I got an interview. And I go to interview at Harvard. And I'm the one they brought in that they didn't think they would hire, because I played at Michigan. I'm coaching in a top 25 program. And they thought, this is not going to be a fit. This is not going to work, but let's bring her in anyway. And I go there, and I interview with Bill Cleary, who's a 2-time Olympian, won a national championship as a coach, is now the AD at Harvard, and Pat Henry, who's a senior associate AD at Harvard. And I loved it there. I thought, this is a right fit. I was frustrated with doing class checks at Iowa. I was like, I want to work with people who want to go to class and want to do this. Like, that's what college is for, right? Like, we should be doing that. Gail's like, you know, that's what I want to do. Like, that's what I should be doing, right? So I interviewed there, and it was amazing. And here's the benefit of Title IX. That year, they elevated 3 sports to full-time status: softball, volleyball, women's ice hockey, and they hired full-time head coaches. So at 26 years old, here I am, never thinking I would coach, being the head coach at Harvard. I was like, what just happened? You know, like, okay, now what do I do, right? Now I'm the head coach, and what do I do? And how do I build a program? And luckily, I had Hutch, I had Gail, I had people to ask questions, I had the NFCA, and I kind of went along and I figured it out. And in addition to trying to work and build a program, I then became an academic advisor, because there's this thing called a proctor at Harvard, and they're in residence with freshmen, and you have to be an officer of the college. So I interviewed, and I thought, I could do this. I know nobody. I'm 26. I need some friends. I'll learn the Harvard curriculum. Maybe this is something I could do. So I learned how to be an academic advisor, and I lived in residence with freshmen. So I have stories about all of my alums, but I have some great stories about Harvard kids in residence and dumb things that they do. And I had to live it. And that enriched my life as a coach, because I learned the curriculum, and I met deans, and I met faculty, and I got connected in that way. And it helped my coaching to understand what my students would go through on a yearly basis, what the academic demands are, and what happens beyond that. And I'm forever grateful to Dean Nibby Nathans for giving me that opportunity, because it mattered. It mattered in my life. And as my dad says, you know, I said, you know, you get into coaching, like at that time, there wasn't any money in coaching. He says, it's not how much you make, it's how much you don't spend. I was like, oh, well, I'll live rent-free. I'll save all my money. I'll invest it. And then I don't have to chase a higher salary. I'm good. I can figure this out. I was an accounting concentrator. So that led to more and more opportunities within Harvard to interface with the larger, you know, administration, the larger faculty, the larger really community that is just an amazing place to be and a source of excellence. And, you know, I can't say enough what it's like to work at Harvard, because, you know, when you work at Harvard, you're kind of under a microscope, right? Everybody's looking at everything you're doing. And you have a level of excellence. And I was or am still, I guess, the expert in softball at Harvard. That's they're going to come to me. I'm teaching clinics. People are calling me. People are doing this. People are doing this. The philosophy at Harvard is education through athletics. Opportunities are there to provide life lessons for students. And athletics is not solely the reason that they're there. It is a part of what they do. It's a part of what they become while they're there. And when the pandemic hit and they canceled class and they sent students home, they had to make a decision about athletics. And you're neither privileged, okay, nor punished as a student athlete there. So they say, why are we sending all the students home but potentially leaving the athletes here? We can't do that. If we're de-densifying the campus, we have to be consistent with our decisions. Okay, we got a letter from the president within 2.5 hours. All the head coaches were in an Ivy League, were in a meeting with the president of the college and the dean of the college. To say that Harvard doesn't prioritize athletics is a misnomer. He is telling us all the information he has for which to make this decision. And we sat there. He's being advised by all the infectious disease experts, which are the best in the world, about what he knows. We sat in that meeting. He told us what he knew. He told us who was working on a vaccine. He told us what was going to be happening that was catastrophic. And we stood there like stunned. And the decisions followed what they knew. And athletics is at the forefront in the sense that we get canceled. I get text after text. Sorry to hear your season's canceled. Sorry this, sorry that. I was like, do these people not know they're going to get canceled too? Do we not? They're just being sympathetic. Hutch calls me and says, I think we're going down the same road. I said, you sure are. She says, they're saying no fans. And I said, well, tell your kids this may be the last game they play for a long time, because it's coming and it's happening. So to have that information and to be at the forefront of those decisions, you're under a microscope. We travel, and what do people say? You're from Harvard? Like the Harvard? We're like, yes. You know, we try not to, like, you know, put attention out there, but the attention is there. You know, you work at a very famous place. As my son would say, why would you coach anywhere else? It's one of the best institutions in the country. Like, where else are you going to go? And I said, well, that's a good point. That's a very good point. I can't argue with that logic. So, you know, it's been amazing, and I've been very grateful for the tenure that I've had at Harvard. And I'll say a couple of things about my players, who are the most remarkable women I've ever met. They're driven, they're focused, they're smart, and what they do as student athletes is incredible, considering there's no scholarship, considering the academic demands. I've never been surprised by the level of success on the field. I've always known what the players were capable of doing. But the one accomplishment that blew me away was last year being honored as the top team in Division I for GPA at Harvard. One time we ranked in the top 10, and Marlo Yonker called me from Central Michigan because she was a top 10 team as well. She's like, Jenny, I think there should be a degree of difficulty here. And I said, yeah, maybe. But to have, you know, a 3.7 at Harvard where you have 3-hour exams and the demands are exceptional, like, and keep up the level that they do athletically blows me away each and every year. So to have these women here tonight celebrating means the world to me. You know, they are the smartest driven students you ever want to meet. And some of them do have, you know, sometimes we lack a little bit of common sense. You know, as Carol Drohan told me one time, she says, you know, my students at Northwestern, they're brilliant, they're calculating, they're smart, they can design buildings, but if it catches on fire, I'm not following them out. It's like, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. So, you know, yeah, lots of stories about what we see. As I tell my staff, what's obvious to us is not obvious to them. So we have to be the better teachers. We have to use more words, okay? That's what we have to do. My work at Harvard, my curriculum is simple. I just try to win softball games. That's what I do. I help my players grow. I help them develop. My job is to help them get to their next steps. I have written hundreds and hundreds of letters of recommendation for what they want to do next. It's the greatest privilege I have, and it's a great honor. My life has been enriched by the development of these relationships that I've had over decades with these student athletes. To have the first student that I put on the team as a walk-on speak and thank me is remarkable, and speaks to how this experience is a transformational experience for students at the college level. I had it myself at Michigan. I know the value of it for my players. And that's my goal. Win softball games and make sure that they're having a good experience. That's growth, right? The purpose of sport is that we become a better version of ourselves, okay? So a few thank yous. I have tons of Harvard stories. We can share them in the after party if you're interested. Several thank yous. First, to my players, both current and former. You are my heart, you are my motivation and inspiration. You have made my work fun, challenging, frustrating, and rewarding. I have learned more from each of you than you will ever know. My job was never to make your lives easier, just better, and help you get to where you're going in the world. You are Harvard softball. You have each added to the strength of the program. You will be with me always, even when I can no longer remember your names. I hope you continue to cherish the people who make up Harvard softball, past and present. To my former assistants, you have left an incredible mark on Harvard softball and me personally. I've appreciated your work, your support of your players, your loyalty to me, and I'm proud to call you friends. I hope I've helped you get to where you're going. To my current assistants, you still have work. You're not done yet. To Hutch, you've been a model coach, mentor, and supporter. You are always available for counsel and advice. You gave me the opportunity to wear the maize in blue. You have supported my coaching career, and you were there when I needed it most after the sudden death of my father. You reached out amidst your disappointment in having your season come to an end to let me know you were thinking of me. I appreciate that more than you know. Thank you for the large role you've played in my life to help me get to where I was going. To Maureen, with whom I share the amazing challenge of raising a son, thank you for supporting my work, understanding the schedule and travel. Thank you for teaching our son to love books and for coming to our home games, even when Cooper was in my office reading his books. To my dear friend Nancy, thank you for sticking by me for so many years. You are my longest friend in softball, and you are a special person, having endured for years coming to my home and having my father call you no-hit. To Andrea, the person most responsible for me still coaching, Thank you for supporting my work beyond what I thought someone could. With my health challenges, you have kept me physically operational. When I was limping from pitching BP, you told me to go to yoga. Not the easy kind, the 90-minute hard, hot yoga that with humidity, which I still do. When my quad was tight, you bought me a rolling stick to roll it out. When my right shoulder was sore, you bought Chinese cups to alleviate the pain. When my left shoulder was bothering me, you bought K-tape to tape me up. When I complained of upper body strength and I was lacking, you bought me an over-the-doorway chin-up bar. When my entire body was weak, you got me a travel set of TRX bands. And my personal favorite, when I recently disclosed I was sitting in an ice bath at home because my legs were tired from catching bullpen, you got me Normatec boots that I could plug in and sit in the recliner and treat myself. My house is a virtual training room. You have gone beyond measure to allow me to do what I love, not to mention attend as many games, clinics, and camps that you possibly can attend. Thank you for being my rock. To my family, first my cousins, thank you for coming to my many softball games, too many to count, for being proud of me and helping me along the way. I look up to all of you. I'm grateful you are here. To my niece and nephews, thank you for understanding what I do and being proud of me. To my siblings, thanks for putting up with me. I'm the middle one. I'm the bossy one. I'm the reason we have rules. Thank you for doing the task when I make a list when we're on vacation in Montana. To my sister who learned to run snack bars when I played, I'm in awe of what you do as a kindergarten teacher, and thank you for making my child mine when you watched him during recruiting trips. It was like behavior boot camp. He came back saying, please, thank you. How was your day, Mommy? To my brother, a bigger Michigan fan than myself, thank you for keeping me informed on all things Michigan. I heard that Hutch retired when I was in Ireland from my brother. The only entity that is faster at disseminating the news is the Associated Press. To my father with whom I share a spirit. He helped me get to where I was going. He let me go even though he wanted me to work for him. He made sure we had what we needed. He made sure we had all the opportunities that we could have, and he never was a softball dad. He never, he enjoyed the games, but he really just enjoyed watching me do what I love to do. He would be tickled that I was up here tonight. To my grandmothers, I learned a mental game from my grandmothers, and I'll give you two quotes. The first, from my grandmother Allard, life's great if you don't weaken. You got to be strong. You got to deal. You don't know what's coming your way. It's like P. Duff, have stamina. Secondly, by my grandma Irish, Jenna, I just can't worry about that. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't worry about that. I was like, that's brilliant. Can we have all the discipline to worry to do that? That was just a brilliant quote. I know I'm forgetting people, but I will continue on. The last one's tough. To my mother. She was scheduled to be here, but took a fall. She's devastated. She is watching virtually from home. My mother is a badass, okay? She is a badass. She called me to get into coaching. I didn't listen. She let me find my way. She says, you're always going to have a better mousetrap. She let me do it. She let me figure things out. When I was interviewed at Harvard, someone said, who's been the biggest influence on your career? And I paused and I said, my mother. And they were shocked. And I said, I know you want me to say this other coach in her profession, but honestly, it was my mother. At every turn when I had to negotiate my career, I've gone to her. She's the one that could dissect it. She can talk to me. She knows me. Who knows you better than your mother? Nobody, right? And if you listen, the point of this speech should be listen to your mother. If I would have listened, I would have caused myself a lot less grievance and a lot less pain, okay? I have been lucky to do the work that I love. I've worked very hard, and I've tried to speak the truth and do what is right when no one's watching. The work we do as coaches matters. It changes lives. And it has been a privilege to coach as long as I have at an institution who values teaching and learning at the highest level. Coaching demands every part of ourselves, requires constant change, but at the end of the day, there are a lot of things that are much harder. Remember, we are the lucky ones. Thank you.